Hi, I'm Jamie.
Hi, I'm Jeff.
I have AXPAR.
And I have AS.
So we are both qualified yoga teachers, and we've worked now with hundreds and hundreds of people living with AS, AXPAR, spondyloarthritis.
And over that time, we've realized that the stretching and the movement has to be modified for people with AS, and that's what we've been doing today.
You may have tried movement, you may have tried exercise, and it might have made things worse, put you in a flare, and you came away feeling really quite frustrated. We've realized that it's important to make it accessible, to make it safe, and to leave you feeling excited and empowered so you can keep moving for your AXPAR and AS. So we're really excited to share with you these sessions, and we do hope you enjoy.
So whatever level you feel you're at, there's some movement, some stretching you can do. The idea is that you will feel a little bit looser afterwards and good the next day, not worse during, worse after. So we've built that over quite a few years now, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome to this session. This session is going to be all about the spine. Of course, with AS or AXPAR, we need to keep the spine moving and moving in all of its different ways. This session is going to have 4 movements, 4 exercises, and 2 rounds of each one. The first round will be all seated. The second round will be seated or standing. So you have the option between the two. So you can do this whole session from a chair, or you can do some standing options as well. There's going to be many different options available to make things more intense or less intense. So it's about finding something that works for you. So can't wait to see you there. All you're going to need is 2 chairs. Okay everyone, so we're going to get started with this session right away by sitting towards the edge of our chair, making sure that chair is not going to slip around. And we're going to have another chair in front of us with the backrest facing us. We can have the feet hip distance apart. We could take the feet a little bit wider. Just pick whatever's going to be most comfortable in that position. And we're going to start by having the hands to the backrest and begin to send the chest forward. Try not to round the spine back, but think about leading with the chest and taking the chest towards that chair. You might begin to feel a bit of a stretch into the back. This might be more than enough. If you want to go further, you could take the forearms on top of the backrest. Again, this might be more than enough for you today. Or you could take the head down to the forearms. If you want to go further, you do have the option to turn the chair around, have the hands to the seat of the chair, or perhaps take the forearms to the seat. And if that still isn't enough of a stretch in the back, in the spine, you could take the hands lower down the chair, or you can even move the chair slightly away, hold on to the feet around the ankles and calves, or you could even reach the arms out in front of you for a deeper stretch still. You could pick any of these options. One is not better than the other. They're just going to provide a more intense or less intense stretch. So pick whichever one you think is going to be right for you today, and we're going to come into the stretch. And we're going to hold this position for about 30 to 60 seconds. Now, throughout this session, if you need to have a rest, you can take a rest at any point. So after 10 seconds or so, you may want to come out, shake it out a little, come back in. Or you may find that you're okay to stay for the whole time. The most important thing is to really listen to what's going on in your body as you're doing this movement. This is decompressing the spine, stretching the sides of the back, and also by allowing the crown of the head to relax down, you're getting some decompression into the neck too. And ask yourself, what would it mean to take some bigger breaths here? What would it mean to breathe into the areas where you're feeling that stretch? If you can, maintain breathing in and out through the nose. perhaps relaxing the muscles in the face. Allow the shoulders to relax here. Feel free to come out at this point or stay a little bit longer. We'll be here for about 10 more seconds. And whenever you're ready, slowly come up. Don't rush the head. Take your time. And we're just going to shake it out a little bit. Take a little break. You've worked more than you think. So we're going to do 2 rounds of everything today. And if in this round that we've just done, you felt like that was more than enough, you felt the stretch, you felt that movement, stay there. That's perfect. If you'd like to explore a more intense option, you could follow along with me, or you could stay seated with Jeff. So if you're doing the seated option, you could go in right away with Jeff. And again, you can take breaks at any point. You don't have to stay for this whole duration. Okay, so really listen to your body. Don't try to push further than, a certain amount of time. If you need a break, take one. From here, if you're doing the standing option, we're going to have the seat of the chair facing us, bending the knees generously and having the feet hip distance apart. We're going to take the hands onto the backrest of the chair and bend the knees and think about the hips lifting up. And begin to allow the crown of the head to just relax down here. And this will encourage some flexion and again some decompression in the spine, in the neck. And if this is more than enough, stay here. You have the option to take the hands to the seat of the chair. You could stay here, or you have the option, you might need to walk back slightly, to take the hands down the legs of the chair. Or you have the option to take the hands to the floor or the hands around the calves. The key thing is, as I said in the previous round, one position isn't better than the other. Just find what's going to be most appropriate in your body today. Try to keep the weight in towards the toes. So we're not leaning back here. The weight is towards the toes. We're bending the knees and we're lifting the hips. This draws the stretch into the belly of the hamstring. So above the knee, we're getting a stretch. Instead of being behind the knee, we're getting it higher up. And this is a better way to stretch the hamstrings here. Really allow the crown of the head to relax, the shoulders to soften. And we're going to be here for about 30 more seconds. Again, if you need a rest at any point, you can take one. If you need to come into a less intense option throughout this, you can do that. You don't have to stay in the option that you picked in the beginning. You could find an option that's a little bit more gentle or a little bit more intense, and that's fine too. You're doing really well. Just a few more moments here. Again, you may want to come out early or stay for the last 10 seconds. When you come up, don't rush the head. Take your time. Take a few moments, standing or seated. Shake out the shoulders. Take a few big breaths. And we're going to move on to our second movement. We've just worked flexion and that decompression of the spine. We're now going to work some extension. The extension of the spine is really important in AS or AXPAR, especially if we spend lots of time sitting or if we're in pain, we're going into this forward position. We're working to open up the chest, open up the lower spine, and also the midsection of the spine as well. So for this, we're going to once again come towards the edge of the chair, not to the point that you're going to tip forwards, but the point that you're able to maintain a long spine. Notice what's going on in the point of the sit bones. So you want to try to avoid sitting on the very back of the buttocks. We want to take the fleshy part of the buttocks back behind us, so we've got mostly the sit bones that's in contact with the chair. You could have pillows underneath the chair as well to elevate the hips further. So you want to be almost at the point as if you're about to stand up, but then you don't. And that's going to give you that lifting position. From here, We're going to start by just having the hands to the thighs and lifting the chest up, drawing the shoulders back. If it's comfortable in the neck, you could lift the head up very slightly. I would recommend just looking between where the wall and the ceiling meet, but not dropping the head back in this motion, as this causes too much pressure on the neck. So just a gentle lift. And if this is enough, you can stay here. You have the option to intensify this by taking the hands around the side of the chair. Think about, instead of the shoulders dropping in, drawing the shoulders back to the wall behind you. And if this is enough, you can stay here. And if you want to take this a little bit further, you could take the hands onto the backrest. Again, notice if the shoulders are dropping in, seeing if you can encourage the shoulders to draw back behind you. And we're going to hold this for about 30 more seconds. That might just be 5 seconds for you, with a little rest and then another 5. Or it might be the whole 30. So especially if this is one of your first sessions today, go easy on yourself. Give yourself time, give yourself space. Listen to your body. You're doing more than enough wherever you are. You're going to be here for about 15 more seconds, and if you need a rest at this point, do so. Notice if you're holding the breath. Try and do your best to maintain your breath. Okay, just a little bit longer here. And whenever you're ready, you can release, shake out the shoulders, shake anything out. Perfect. So, second round, you could do the same as we've done on the first round with Jeff, and that's still going to provide that amazing extension for the spine, the opening in the chest and the shoulders. You can stay there. That's perfect. If you'd like to intensify this, you could do a standing option with me. So pick whichever you'd like. I know you could always swap between the two, and this doesn't have to be your last session with us. You can do this session again, you can play back, and over the days, over the weeks, you can choose different options. So if you're doing the standing option, follow along with me. If you're doing the seated option, you could pick any of the options we did previously with Jeff. So for the standing option, first thing we want to try to do is to tuck the tailbone under. So we're not lifting the hips back behind us. We're trying to send the hips forward and gently draw the tailbone under. Gently squeeze the buttocks as well. This will provide a sensation of more space in the lower back and a feeling of more support there. From here, you could reach the arms up to a point that feels comfortable. This might be here, this might be here, this might be here. And over time, what we're going to begin to do is, as if we're holding onto a big volleyball or football or basketball, we're going to begin to lift that higher up to the ceiling. And this might be more than enough. And if you want to intensify this, you could begin to reach it further back, but try to squeeze the buttocks, send the hips forward. Make sure not to hold the breath. And over time, you can go further back. Don't drop the head. Keep the head in line with the rest of the torso and the neck in line with the rest of the spine. You do have the option from here to interlace the fingers, thumbs crossed, index fingers touching, and reach up and then back. But be mindful, wherever you are, here, 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 or with Jeff, you're doing more than enough. So don't force. A few more seconds here, take a break at any point you need, and then slowly release. Amazing work. Give it a good shake out the shoulders, shake out the hips a little bit as well. Perfect. So we've done some flexion, we've done some extension. So a forward bend and a back bend. We're now going to do a twist, okay? So for this, we're going to need just one chair and making sure you've got space to move here. So from a seat, we're going to turn 90 degrees clockwise. So we have the right hip in line with the backrest of the chair. Now you might have a chair that has armrests. If that's the case, just turn a little bit to where the armrests are, and that's fine, because we can instead just hold on to the armrests instead of the back of the chair, which you'll understand in a few moments. But before we think about doing anything in terms of the twist, we want to see how tall we can sit on this chair. And tall is however tall you can comfortably sit, okay? So it's not about comparing yourself to other people. How tall can you comfortably sit? And from here, you have an option to take the hands to the back of the chair. So turning again clockwise here. Or if you have a side rest or arm rest, you could have the hands onto that arm rest. And that's fine too. Before we begin to twist, imagine you're about to stand up. So you're in that position where you're lifting up, the chest is up, we're ready to lift up, and we're thinking about the crown of the head drawing up to the ceiling, the whole of the torso lifting. And here, take a big breath in, and on an exhale, begin to gently twist and turn. Now, we're not using the strength of the arms to twist here. You could even for a moment take the hands off the backrest and you'll see where the twist will be coming from, which it should be coming from that rotation of the spine and the trunk. So you could have the hands on the chair, but just be very gentle with the hands, and over time we can turn a little bit more. You can take a rest at any point you wish, and only turn the head to the point that feels comfortable. Try to relax the shoulders down. So this is getting some rotation into the neck, into the spine, the trunk. It's so important in AS RAC Spa to do these movements. They help us with daily things like driving and turning to look over our shoulder. So these are very practical movements. Keep breathing and take a rest at any point. You're doing really, really well. And to come out, take your time to slowly come out if you haven't already. Before we do the other side, just take a moment to pause. Perhaps just move out the shoulders, shake it out, and then we're going to turn anti-clockwise now, 90 degrees. So now we've got the left hip in line with the backrest. And again, you may find that you've got a armrest, and in that case just turn as much as you can. If you don't have an armrest, of course, turn fully. So from here, take the hands either to the backrest or the armrest. And once again, before we begin to twist, how much can we begin to lift before we twist, okay? So we're focusing on lifting the torso, lifting the chest, lifting the crown of the head up, taking a big breath in, and then beginning to turn. Try not to use and push with the hands. Remember, the hands are there for support, but they shouldn't be the mechanism in which we twist. We're using and stabilizing into the muscles in the back and the spine. By not using the hands, we're getting so much more out of this twist. So the hands are there for support. They can gently guide you into the twist, but only to the point that feels comfortable. And turn the head over the left shoulder to the point that feels comfortable, which might mean not moving it at all. If you need to come out early and have a rest, do so. If you want to stay a little bit longer, you can as well. And then very slowly, taking as long as you need, come back to center. Take a pause, again, shake it out. Amazing stuff. So, as you've probably gathered by now, we're going to do a second round. You may have found that twist was more than enough that we've just done. And if that was, stay there. That's perfect. You're still doing exactly the same movement. You're getting all the benefits of that rotation, which is so important in AS RAC Spa. You're just doing it in a way that's right for you. If you'd like to do a more intense option, you could follow along with me, or you can stay with Jeff. So we're going to come to stand if we're doing the standing option, with the backrest of the chair facing us, standing with the feet hip distance apart. At this point, try to keep the hips facing forward and maintain that for the whole of this session. Then we're going to take the left hand to the center. And again, you can be following with Jeff as we did on the other side. And over time, you might begin to turn the chest over the right. If this is enough, you could stay here, or you could begin to reach the right arm back behind you. You might want to have it lower down, Or you could have it higher up, which will stretch the pectoral muscles in the front of the chest and the top of the shoulder. Now, you may want to have little rests in between. You don't have to hold this here. So you could come back, take a little breath, and then go again. Or you could hold this for the whole time. Only turn the head to the point that feels comfortable. And for those seated, if you need to take a rest at any point, do so. Remember, we don't have to stay there for the whole time. For those standing, what would it mean to take some bigger breaths here, especially into that side, right side of the body? And then very slowly come back to center, seated or standing if you haven't already. Take a little pause and we'll do the other side. Right hand to center now. And for those with Jeff, turning to the other side as well. And we're going to reach the left arm back behind us, or just take that left hand onto the left hip and begin to rotate. Try to avoid the hips turning too much. They might turn a little bit, okay? That's going to be normal, but try not to kind of twist the hips too much. And then from here, if you can, and if it's comfortable, you can turn the head to look over the left side. You could have that left hand higher down or lower down, depending on what's right for you. Try to avoid the head dropping down. Keep the head in an upright position. You may want to have little breaks and do it as more repetitions. So you could do a few repetitions like this, or you could just hold with me here. Make sure to take a deep breath in and use that breath in to lift up the body, and use the breath out to turn a little bit more, maybe just a centimeter, a millimeter, an inch. And then slowly turn back to center. Amazing job. Shake out the shoulders. Give yourself a little rest here. So we're all going to come to sit if we weren't seated already. And we're going to sit down with the backrest of the chair facing us here. The feet again can be hip distance apart. They could be a little bit wider. The key is comfort. There isn't a right or wrong here. And from here, we're going to come to the edge of the chair. Again, not to the point that we're going to tip forward, but enough that we can get that lift so we're not slumping back. And then we're going to take the hands to the back of the chair. This might be more than enough. If you want to intensify this, you could take the chair further forward and reach the hands further forward and the arms further forward, and drop the chest further down to the floor. Don't drop the head down, keep the ears between the upper arms. And this is going to be stretching into the lats down the side of the back. It's also going to be getting into the midsection of the spine and working to open that part up. So the thoracic spine, which often people with AS or AXPAR experience tightness there. And this might be more than enough. You may be higher up, you may be lower down, the arms might be more straight or more bent. And if you want to go further still, you can just take the arms further forward and the hips further back. So you've got a bigger distance between the two. But remember, one is never better than the other. It's a case of what's going to be appropriate in your body. Wherever you are is more than enough, and you're doing a really good job. We're going to be here for about 20 more seconds. You can take a rest at any point. You can come out, shake it out, rest it out whenever you need to. Make sure when you're in the position to breathe slowly and gently. And if you can, focus on slowing that exhale down, which will encourage the body to relax. And then slowly, whenever you're ready, coming up if you haven't done so. So we've got one more movement to do. We're going to either repeat what we've just done on the chair. And again, if that felt like more than enough of a stretch, that's perfect. Just stay there. That's great. If you want to do a slightly more intense option, you could come to stand and follow along with me, or come in with Jeff whenever you'd like to. And remember, you can take breaks at any point when you're with myself or Jeff. So if you're doing the standing option, we're going to take the heel of the hands, so not the center of the palm, but kind of towards the edge near the inside of the arms to the chair. And you're going to begin to walk the feet back to about 1 meter in length, 2 to 3 feet. And you may be up here, okay? This is great, this is fine. Keep the knees generously bent, and over time you might send the hips further back and the chest further down. Ears between the upper arms. And if this is more than enough, you can stay here. You could stay here, you could stay here, or you could be on the seated version with Jeff. That's great. If you'd like to intensify this further, you could straighten the legs, but whilst keeping a little bend in the knees to make this more of a hamstring stretch as well. Or you could bend the knees quite a lot and think about almost sitting the hips down towards the floor, which will deepen the stretch in the lats down the side of the back and the midsection of the spine. The other option you have here for the last 20 to 30 seconds, remember you can have a rest at this point, is to take the hands to the seat of the chair, lift the hips up, ears between the upper arms, with the option to bend the knees as much as you need or begin to straighten them. We're going to be here for about 15 more seconds. You can take a rest at any point if you haven't done so already. What would it mean to take some bigger breaths into the areas where you're getting that stretch? And then whenever you're ready, slowly, if you're standing, walk your feet up to the chair. If you're seated, come back to a comfortable position. And if you are standing, make your way down to the chair as well. Just take a moment to relax back into the chair. Perhaps softening or even closing your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And just take a moment to thank yourself, to be proud of yourself for taking the time out of your day to perhaps try something new or return back to movement. It's definitely a challenge to move with AS and ACT Spa, but when you have all of these available resources to you, where you know that there are ways to move safely and begin to really get into movement, it can make a big difference. And if you've enjoyed this session of Moving for ACT Spa, we have a whole page of free resources on our website. Just head on over to yogaforas.com to learn more.